Hi, my name is Sahib and this is our ENCMP 100 project Ludo. It is a game which is inspired by the popular board game Ludo. The rules of this game are simple. Players take their turns by rolling a dice to determine how many spaces their pieces can move. You can capture other players' pieces. There are some safe spots on the board where your pieces cannot be captured. The goal is to be the first one to move all of one's pieces from the starting point to the finishing point. The game works as follows. When you run the code, it presents you with a menu. The first option reads a text which gives a brief introduction to the game. The second option tells us about the rules of the game. When we choose the third option, it asks us to enter the number of players and their names. Now the game starts. We can roll a dice by hitting enter. The code will display the number on the dice in the console and also on the plot. We can also see a tiny little dice being displayed in the corner. Using the number on the dice, the code finds all the possible moves for you and presents you to choose one of them. If no moves are possible, it will give the dice to the next player. We also implemented a feature to capture another piece. The code makes sure that the piece being captured is not yours and there are no more than one pieces on the box. It is one of the most important rules in Ludo. In the end, the first person to put his pieces back in the first is declared as winner, and a golden crown is shown on the board and the results are displayed in the console. We built this code in 4 versions. The first version was made in order to check feasibility to make this program. For version 1, we started by plotting an image of a Ludo board using matplotlib. We decided to display pieces as scatter plots. We used an iterative process to identify all the possible coordinates where a player's piece can be present. We also decided to put a winning crown, labels for the player's name and his pieces, and a tiny little dice in the corner of the game board. The respective X and Y coordinates were identified. In the end, we came with something that looked like this. The second version tried to implement basic logic of the game. We divided our code into a set of functions. The main function is called, which presents the menu to the user. When the game starts, an infinite loop begins until everyone except the last player have made their pieces to home. We define a player's variable which describes the current state of the game. This player's variable has a set of players, which is a list that stores player's name and his pieces. The pieces are represented as dictionaries, each with unique properties such as current position and the path to be followed. A roll dice function is created that returns a random number between 1 and 6. Using this number, a getMove function is defined that takes the piece to be moved. Then, a movePiece function is defined to update player's variable. In the end, a plot is created by the function called updateBoardState. We kept on improving the code in the next versions. We implemented the rules in the third version, such as only start on 6 and the code to capture pieces. For this, we created new functions such as getLegalMoves and getSaveHouse. The game is ended and the winner is detected in the version 4. You might be wondering how we tested our game for different cases to check if the rules are being followed. Well, we just simply made roll dice function to return 1 every time, and we changed the initial position and coordinates of the pieces to the desired position based on the rule being tested. Our engineering process involves starting out by laying a general functionality of the program and then slowly delving into specific cases by adding more functions and modifying the original ones. Tracking the pieces using dictionary objects help us to minimize the number of loops required to do the task. The move piece and the update board state were the most complex portion of the code on which we spent most of the time debugging. These functions are responsible for making the most of our code to make sense when it is put together by the main function. Thus, it would be fair enough to call them the heart of our program. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Have a great day.